Welcome back to my channel. Always so happy to find you here. As promised, I'm going to be discussing my first book as a potential holiday purchase for you, a friend, or a coworker this year. This was my very first book I've ever, well, no, I can't say that. It's the very first book I ever published. I had several manuscripts, as many authors do. It's like their catalog is just full of either incomplete or work in progress materials. I cannot say that I'm not part of that company, but this was the first one that I published, and it has its own story beyond the book as to how publishing really it took me down the road and challenged me, but I made it across the finish line, and I'm very, very proud of it. I was extremely proud of this book, and now that there's two others to join it in this series called The People at Work. This one is called Keys for Dealing with the People at Work, and it's basically, it's about 137 pages. It gives you a key at the end of each chapter. There's a key by which you can use to deal with people at work, because it is dealing with people at work. It starts off, and let's say this. Let me preface before I get into the book. I started this book off sharing with the reader the role of the HR department because it became very clear to me that most people don't know what the heck HR really does. They don't know. They think HR is involved with hiring and firing and their benefits. And if they have a paycheck problem that payroll hasn't fixed, they'll go tell HR so HR can go. They just think HR is the police of the company. Well, this is just limited understanding. And I also found that depending on their experience, past, prior, current, and even sometimes future before them, they have a fixated idea in mind of an HR, and I've never been that. So it's also this book designed for me to try and twist, carve, or change that perspective based on more of a reality instead of your encounter. Because your encounter was with an HR person, not an HR group or an HR ideology. It was a person that probably didn't present it the way you want it or came across the way. And that's a whole different, I should write a book on that. On that. But anyway, this is this one. And it gives you different ideas about dealing with people at work, especially people that are challenged by their perspective. The fourth chapter talks about changing your challenges. It talks about changing challenges. There's a chapter that's also called having a positive mental attitude. Now that sounds kind of soapy, but really it's the truth of the matter. I've seen mediocre, just a little above mediocre, not even your excellent, outstanding top performers. I've seen mediocres do better than the top performers just because they came with a positive mental attitude. They were always happy to do that. They were always sure I'll do that. They were always um, embracing a request. I'll put it that way. So it's very much important that you be authentic, but that you try and maintain a positive mental attitude. And also, there's a chapter about getting started versus you're hired. There is a difference between the two. Once you are hired, you have just passed whatever your company's processes is. And it's nowadays, particularly, it's not just like you feel like back in the day, you fill out an application, you talk to a person, they like you get hired, and you start the next month. It's none of that anymore. And so many employers, depending on the size of the employer, they want to digitize everything. And boy, can there be a lot of hiccups with that. An email, there can be an encrypted message in an email, and then hackers can get. I just don't like the full upload of digitization. Now, people tell me that I am being terse with technology. And I'm like, no, when you do this job and you realize you're dealing with the person's most sensitive confidentiality, you wouldn't want it either. Their computer, your computer, hacking and all of that. And you can encrypt whatever you want to. These hackers are phenomenal at breaking code. So I don't prefer it because if we are not aware by now, the three main ways to steal your identity is through your social security number, your birth date, and through an employer's payroll, which is linked to your social security number. So there's two right there. So not trying to scare, but an employer is not going to broadcast that to their employees because everyone will get shimmery shamery. But it's a very real thing, I'll put it that way. However, saying that, once you get started, once you're hired and you get started, it's important that you understand the climate of your company. Meaning, what's okay to kid around with? Because so many people may not be okay with your kidding around with them. And how to get in and fit in. And if something needs to be perhaps upgraded or improved, how to gently roll that recommendation out. Because even though it's a great recommendation, I've seen so many persnickety bosses say, who are they to tell me I've been doing this for years? And who is this young kid? That kind of thing. Who is this person that has no experience in this company? I've been doing this for years, telling me how to improve. All of that. So it's a mindset that sometimes you don't realize you're pricking against a person that created what you're saying it's time to improve. So work in team with that's in the book too. And I also say rise above that because usually a person that is I can put it, a person that is resistant to change is not going to receive initiative from those who want to change or improve a product. So you have to partner with that, not only that person, but with that mindset and that say, hey, have we thought about, so I'm just giving you fair leverage that is out there and it's real. That's out there and it's real. Another chapter in this book is how the generalities of the workplace come across, meaning as a man thinketh. And the whole brown nosing idea of brown nosing and the whole click of a thing, as a man thinketh, the climate of the workplace is something that we all need to learn over time, which is best for us in that approach. Now, some people call it workplace politics, and some people call it the good old boys club, and some people call it mean girl clique, and all of these things. You call it what you want to. But at the end of the day, I do hope that you find a very effective way in dealing with the people at work. And the keys are in here. Because at the end of the day, unless you're independently wealthy, we all have to go to work. And a lot of the times I hear this work-life balance doesn't work because people are stressed out at work. My good recommendation, and it's not in this book, I don't think. I didn't put it in this book. Well, I did put control emails, but I didn't put this recommendation. So I'm going to give you this as a bonus. Don't email on your day off. Email is a big problem. Just trust me when I say it. Because when you email, even though you say, well, I'm off, they didn't have to answer it. The person's mindset is if you're their boss, you expect them to answer and they're off. So I would just, I have done it. I've come in on like a Saturday when it's peace. Nobody's, nobody's going to be in there. Nobody's going to stop me. I get peace. I get a lot more done. And I will send all these different emails or prepare them. And then I'll put them in the bank, meaning the email bank without sending them. And I will set a time to send them on Monday morning. And there'll be all of these that will come out on Monday morning because I don't want them to think they need to answer me. So that would be a good tip. And then I would leave you with this. Let me just pick a page. This is page 35 at the end of the chapter on changing your mind and changing your perspective. And it says, so there's a key. There's a key at each chapter. And the key for this one, the key that would work this is take accountability. Work will never be fully satisfying if you refuse to take ownership of your work results or shortcomings. But don't be hard on yourself because nobody's perfect. And don't I always say that in almost every one of my videos? None of us are perfect. And it's okay to be imperfect and to have our shortcomings. But accountability, responsibility, behavior, and conduct, that's very important for us in the workplace. So here you'll find my book on Amazon.com. It is reduced down in price. I think you can get it now for 50%. You can order it today. It'll be delivered very soon, especially if you have Prime. And give it to a couple of your work buddies. I love you. If you've gotten this far, please click like and click subscribe. And then stay tuned for my next upload, which will be talking about my second book, okay, as a gift option. Have a good day. Have a good work week. And I love you. See you later. Bye. Click like.